UFC Fight Night. Kape vs. HORIGUCHI is going down this Saturday, and these are my predictions over the entire card. Overall, probably not the best card to have right after the White House event. Just kind of what it is. Not, obviously main event's sick. There are some other fights on here that should be pretty cool, but we are kind of back to the a few of the no-name guys fighting on the card. We'll just get right into it. Starting with the early prelim. We got Shane Collins versus Otari Tanzinlovi. I'm going to take Shane Collins. He's got big power. He's got big power on the feet. He's decent grappler. He's not the best grappler. He does have big power. That's kind of what he likes to rely on. But he is competent enough on the ground to not have me worried, I guess. Otari lost to a guy on Contender Series who has gone on to go 0-2 in the UFC. So, yeah, I will be taking Shane Collins to win this one. He's been fighting on Uriah Faber's on his promotion. It's like A1. So I don't know what the actual promotion's called, but it's Uriah Faber's promotion, and he has looked very good. I believe he's undefeated. I want to say he's 7-0, 8-0, somewhere around there. I think he's going to get the knockout in this one. I think he's going to go in there and kind of show out. Not an easy win, but get a quick win in this fight. Next up the card, we got Carol Rosa versus Luana Santos. I think I'm probably going to take Luana Santos to win this fight. It is kind of tough because Rosa has over double the amount of professional fights that Santos has, so the experience level is definitely on Rosa's side. And Rosa hasn't looked bad in her last few fights. I just kind of think the younger, hungrier Santos is going to be able to go in there and get this one done. A stereotypical WMMA decision. I guess I could see Rosa kind of just getting her down and stalling her out all 3 rounds. That is a very real possibility. I think that's going to be Santos doing that, though, to Rosa instead of the other way around. So I will be taking Luana Santos. She's a good one to follow on Instagram, you could say. I'm gonna leave it there. Going next up the card, we have Leon Shabazian versus Levon Chokeli. I am not choosing this guy. This guy doesn't have a profile picture. I'm sure you guys have figured out by now that I'm not the type of guy to choose someone whether they have a profile picture or not. I don't really care. I do actually do a little bit of research into what they fight like, what they look like before I just come to this page. So for that, I will be taking Chokeli to win this fight. Shabazian, I believe he has 4 losses. They've all come by knockout. Every time he's lost, he's been knocked out. Very good on the ground, very good ground game. Chokeli has big power. I think he's going to find the chin. Shabazian's, his last knockout loss was 2023, I want to say. yeah, so 2023, Shabazian got knocked out by Ryan Loder. And then he went on to get 3 first-round guillotines. And then in his last fight, he got a first-round armbar on Tough Enough. Not fighting the best competition. So I don't necessarily think his last 4 fights were against like real solid competition that should have got him this shot, I guess. Yeah, I will be taking Cho Kelly to win this fight. I think he's gonna find Shabazian's chin. He does like to leave it up in the area when he gets out of exchanges. He likes to kind of leave with his chin high, shoulders down, so he's not really even like trying to shield it. It's literally just leaving chin ready to get clipped. And I think Cho Kelly is going to get this one done by clipping that chin. Next up the card, we got Ilia Apturo. Ilia Apturo versus Ilia Topturo. Bolaños versus Aswell. I'm going to take Michael Aswell Jr. Bolaños is bumping up from bantamweight. I believe this is his first fight up from bantamweight. He's gonna be a small guy, a little small fry in there. He's not a big bantamweight. He does not have the frame really of a featherweight. Aswell Jr.'s got good power, good grappling. I think he's gonna be able to bully him in there until he gets the finish. I could see a ground and pound, but I think Aswell is gonna go in there and get the sub. Bolaños cannot grapple. And especially he cannot grapple against someone who's bigger than him. It is a tough one to an extent. Aswell did lose to Balaji. That's kind of the hang up for me here. Is I do not think Balaji is very good. He is dangerous, I guess you could say. But he likes to telegraph. After that first round, if you get caught with something, you're just not paying attention during that fight. So that's kind of the little bit of a hiccup I have in this fight. That's making me think Bolaños could make me eat my words. But I'm gonna go with the American. I think Michael Aswell Jr. is gonna be able to get this one done inside the distance. Like I said, Bolaños just cannot grapple. So, to bring it back to that Balaji fight, Bolaños doesn't have power. Like he's not a knockout, one hit quit type of guy. If he does get a TKO, it's he's volume shotting you to just break you basically. I don't think that's going to happen to Michael Aswell. You just look at this guy. He's got the, just looking at him, you can tell he's just got a bigger frame. Obviously these pictures, it's hard to tell in these pictures, but he's just got a bigger frame than Bolaños. He's got a bigger torso. Looks like Bolaños is kind of all arms and legs, to tell you the truth. So, only an inch shorter, same reach. So, I do have to go with the American in this one, though. I will be taking Michael Aswell Jr. to get it done. Next up the card, we have Alan Nascimento versus Mitch Raposo. This is another bit of a tricky one. I'm going to be taking Mitch Raposo to win this fight. He's decent on the ground, so I'm not too worried about Nascimento kind of locking up like a weird sub. Or not getting into a sub easily, I guess. I don't really know what it is about this fight. I just do not like Nascimento. in this fight. He is the bigger guy. 5'8", 5'5". I believe he's got a reach advantage. Yeah, so he's got a 5-inch reach advantage, 3-inch height advantage. So it is going to be kind of tough for Raposo to get in there. But once he's in on the inside, he's got that fast twitch. That Nascimento, he's kind of he's a flyweight, so he's not like a lumbering oaf. But in flyweight terms, I guess you could say Nascimento is the lumbering oaf of flyweight. Raposo's kind of just that flea. He's in, out, over here, over here, over here. So I think that's really going to help him in this fight. Nascimento might want to stay on the outside. He is a submission guy. He's going to go for submissions. But he might want to stay on the outside, and it's going to be hard to score points on Raposo on the outside. So I think that's going to force him to try and score points by shooting like a shitty takedown. And I think Raposo is going to catch him coming in. Maybe not get the TKO, but I think he's going to hurt Nascimento coming in for a takedown and either get the TKO or put that in Nascimento's mind, like, oh, this guy can hurt me if I get in close. So then he's going to be real hesitant to get in close, and he's not going to really score any points. So I see either a TKO or a real boring Mitch Raposo decision, where both of these guys just stay on the feet, stay at range. Raposo's short, so he kind of has to get in on the inside. Nascimento, I think he's prone to getting hurt if someone gets on the inside. So I will be taking Mitch Raposo to win this fight. Next up the card, we have Bia Mesquita versus Melissa Mullins. I mean, there's not much to break down on this one. Bia Mesquita, probably by sub. Mullins does have power for WMMA. She's not huge power. She's not known as like this WMMA just straight finisher. But she is better on the feet than Bia Mesquita. Fortunately for Bia, she's just so superb on the ground that it doesn't really matter. She will find a way to get it to the ground, and once it's on the ground, she's gonna get the sub. I want to say she was like a 3 or 4 time ADCC champ. So her jiu-jitsu is just levels above Melissa Mullins. If this gets to the ground at any time, Bia Mesquita is going to get the submission. If in some way Melissa Mullins stuffs every single takedown, has outstanding balance, never slips, never trips, never goes up against the fence, if she somehow keeps this on the feet, she does have a chance, I believe. I think Bia's, obviously the worst part of her game is her stand-up. I don't think she's quite made the jumps that she needs to do to be a top level fighter. But I don't think she's bad. I do think she can survive on the feet long enough to get a takedown, get a sub. So I will be taking Bia Mesquita to get the sub in this fight. Next up the card, feature fight of the prelims. We got Andre Lima versus Kevin Borjas. I'm going to take Andre Lima. I don't really know what matchmaking was doing in this fight, unless I'm just missing something. Maybe Borjas took this on short notice. That might explain it. I don't have any use of my mouse right now, so thanks, Obama. Oh, there we go. Borjas is he's not UFC level. Lima's looked good. Obviously, he's undefeated. Borjas has been finished. He has lost decisions. I don't really see a path for victory for Borjas. And this isn't like it's a main event of a numbered card. So you want to pick that type of guy. You know what I mean? So I will be taking Andre Lima to win this fight like he should win this fight. He's got good power, big power, not huge power, but he's got good power, good grappling. Borjas just has not looked good in his last few fights. So I'm gonna go with a first or second round TKO. I think he's gonna catch Borjas, dump him, and then follow up with some ground and pound. I don't think he's gonna starch Borjas. Borjas does kind of have that chin where he gets hit, but he doesn't go to sleep. He gets hurt, but he's not completely debilitated. I do think, obviously he gets hurt enough for the ref to jump in on this one. But I don't think he's going to be sleeping. I don't think he's getting starched, I just think Andre Lima is going to do enough to get this one done early in the second, late in the first. Lock it in. On to the main card. We got another tough fight. We got Vinicius Oliveira versus Andre Fili. This shouldn't be a tough fight, but it is. I'm leaning more towards Andre Fili. And I know that's kind of a bit of a hot take. But Oliveira he really did not look good in his last fight. Granted, that was Mario Bautista. We have seen that he is legit. He is a good fighter. He is top level. So you can't say that about it. Andre Fili hasn't looked the best, but he is kind of win one, lose one, win one, lose one. And he's coming off a loss, so he could turn it around and win this one, I do think Bautista showed a good game plan for beating Oliveira. And you can say Oliveira was hurt. Weight cut was really draining him. That is another thing. He is bumping up from bantamweight. So he in theory, he should have lighter man skill. They got, relatively the same record. So it's not like Andre Fili is just going to be totally way more experienced in this fight. He's got about 10 more fights under his belt. So, he will have more experience. He has been on those bigger stages longer, I guess you could say. It's a tough one. I will be taking Andre Fili to win this fight, though. I think he's going to get, a boring decision. If he can get to his takedowns, he is a lot bigger than Mario Bautista. I do think that was part of the reason why Oliveira had so much success getting back up when he was taken down, is because he was bigger. He was the bigger guy in that fight. He's not going to have that advantage in this one. So I will be taking Andre Fili to win a boring 29-28 decision. Next up the card, we got Melsik Bogdasarian versus Murtazali Magomedov. I'm going to take Magomedov to win this fight. He's got 10, I believe he's 10-0, 10 knockouts, or 10-0, 5 knockouts, 5 subs. I could be one off on those. But, he can finish you. He can finish you on the feet. He can finish you on the ground. Pause. I think he's going to go out there and get the knockout in this one. Melsick got knocked out by Gene Silva, and I'm trying to think of when that. It was a while ago, year at least. And before that, he was just kind of fighting cans. He really was not fighting good people, I guess. Everyone he had fought previous to Gene Silva got cut. That is no longer in the UFC. So take that as you will. I'm going to take Magomedov to win this fight. Coming from Kyrgyzstan. Little bit of reach, half-inch reach. That's nothing. He does have power. He does have good power. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, though, I think I'm going to change my pick to sub, though. If I remember correctly, Melsick is primarily a Muay Thai fighter. So if Magomedov was smart, he'd go in there and just get the quick sub. But he might try and prove himself, and he might be able to prove himself with the TKO. Now that I'm thinking about it, though, I do think he's going to go in there with the smart game plan and just search for a sub. Get the sub early. Yeah, I mean, a debutant versus a guy who hasn't fought in a year, at least. So yeah, I will be taking Magomedov to win this fight. Next up the card. In the feature fight, we got Haider Amil versus Christian Rodriguez. I'm going to take Christian Rodriguez to win this fight. I don't really know why this is so high up the card. I guess they are kind of trying to push Haider Amil a little bit. Both of these guys are coming off losses. Both of these guys, I want to say both of these guys have lost to people lower on the card. I know Haider Amil has. I'm not positive about C-Rod. I want to say he lost to Andre Fili also. Fili or Oliveira, one of these guys have lost to. So I don't really know why this is the feature fight. I will be taking Christian Rodriguez to win. I don't think Haider Amil is all that. I don't think he is. I don't think he's this level of fighter. There are people in the UFC that he can beat, but Christian Rodriguez has shown that he's game. He's game for a fight. He has a few questionable losses on his record, Amil has some questionable losses and questionable wins on his record. I believe he took William Gomi to a split decision. So that's tough. That's a tough one. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking Christian Rodriguez to win this fight. That's the extent of my breakdown. Deal with it. Christian Rodriguez to win. On to the co-main. This is one I have deliberated on for quite some time now. On one hand, we have Ion Cutelaba. On the other hand, we have an undefeated Navajo Sterling. I'm gonna take Navajo Sterling to win this fight. Ion Cutelaba could get it done. I don't see it happening. Sterling, he has shown openings for getting hit. He can get taken down. I believe Tuco Tacos took him down and controlled him for a round almost. So that's not a good look. He did win that fight, but still not a good look. I saw him in his last fight against Bruno Lopez. That was Seattle. That was the Seattle card. That's his first finish he's gotten in the UFC since Contender Series, I want to say. So coming in to the UFC, he was a striker. He did a couple of kickboxing, a couple of Muay Thai fights, and then he just jumped right into pro MMA. I think his striking will be clean enough to either hold off Cutelaba or get the finish. I don't see this going to the ground. I don't see Cutelaba knocking Sterling out. I think it could happen. This is MMA. Obviously, anything can happen. And it's been proving anything that can happen most likely will happen. It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I like the undefeated guy versus Ion Cutelaba. That's kind of the extent of it. Sterling should have been running through a lot of these guys that he's been fighting. He has been beating them, but he's not just like dog walking them. He's kind of being pushed as this prospect, but he's not really showing that he is a prospect. He's winning fights, he's undefeated, but he's not just like looking like this world killer. So maybe with this matchup, maybe we kind of get that view of Navajo Sterling. Maybe he does come in here and just starts his Cutelaba early in the first, and we're like, oh, holy shit, this guy's the real deal. I just don't think it. I don't think that's gonna necessarily happen. I am seeing more of like a boring 29-28, 30-27 decision for Navajo Sterling. So I will be taking him to win this fight. Next up, finally, we got Titty Boy Manel Kape versus Kyoji the Gooch Horiguchi. Those bad boys right there. Looking like a prime Macy Barber right now, Mr. Manel Kape. When did your cycle end, sir? That is my question. What's your stack? What's your stack looking like? There's no doubt in my mind that Kape is he is juicing, and I do really like Manel Kape. UFC 5, bringing him to the backyard fights or whatever, just hitting crane kicks on motherfuckers. That was peak. That was so much fun. Kyoji Horiguchi does have a submission win over Kape. Kyoji Horiguchi is the more well-rounded fighter. Kyoji Horiguchi is also I'm gonna take Kyoji Horiguchi. He is old, but he's proven that he's still in there. He's still a high, top level fighter. I want to say all of his losses are coming at 135, with his only loss being to DJ at 125. Lost to Asakura at 135. Lost to Patchy Mix at 135. Lost to Sergio Pettis at 135. I want to say his loss to Cops at 135 too, because that was Rising. I don't think they have a flyweight. So I want to say that was all 135 fights. So if you take those away, he's 36-1. This guy is a stud fighter, and he did get dropped by Amir Albazi. Not terrible. He didn't get like dumped bad and just like barely survived. I think he's going to be defensively sound enough to get into the takedown and submit Manel Kape. Those titties though, Those titties, though, they're really hanging me up. Because if Kape connects big in the first round, might be game over. That might be all she wrote for the Gooch. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I will be taking Kyoji Horiguchi to win this fight. That'll be the video. Be sure to check these fights out. Great fight night card in the Meta Apex this Saturday. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Wheezy MMA. I'm Wheezy, and I'm out. Have a good one.